you're using basically the laws of nature to influence nature to yield a specific result. So we have external technologies, and generally when we talk technologies, you're thinking machinery, something physical and tangible. But technology doesn't have to be limited to that. Yoga itself is a technology in exactly the same sense. You're using the laws of nature in the system to influence nature to yield a specific end result, which in this case we are referring to as human well-being. And the beautiful thing about a technology is totally unprejudiced, completely unprejudiced. Its only interest is in cause and effect. So that's why it has had such mass influence all over the world. Whether you look in China, whether it's in America, whether it's in Australia, whether it's in India, everywhere you look in the world, our modern technology has had such mass influence because it's not really so much concerned with philosophies and belief systems that you've invented in the mind. The only interest is, can you put it to systematic use to yield a specific end result? So yoga in that sense is definitely a technology. We're not referring to a theory or a belief system. That's why if you look in the East, the things that the way that yoga has been employed, you'll find Buddhists have practiced yoga, Hindus have practiced yoga, Jains have practiced yoga, atheists have practiced yoga, Sikhs have practiced yoga. So many different theories and belief systems, yet they've all made use of the same technology of yoga. And after all, the emphasis in the East was, it's not that there's no different theories or belief systems in the East. There are plentiful belief systems and theories in the East. But it is interesting to note that if you look in the East, there is no exact word for philosophy. Search everywhere, you will not find a word for philosophy. The closest word that comes to philosophy is something which in Sanskrit is called darshan. And darshan, have you heard the word darshan? What does it mean?
Yeah.
But you're not Indian, right?
Same in my language, actually.
It is? Can you tell me?
I don't know the exact meaning of the word, but I heard it.
Oh, you don't know any clue about?
It's like an ideology, I guess.
Well, it means something quite different. Darshan, it literally means to see. We are not concerned about thinking about truth. To think about truth, it'll be just like a blind man who's dreaming about light. It's seen in that sense. It literally means to see. Again, it's not because there's no belief systems or philosophies in the East, but the emphasis is entirely different. The emphasis here is on perception. Out of coming to certain states of experience and perception, then many interpretations have arisen as to what it is that has been discovered, but the emphasis was always on direct perception. So the approach, whichever tradition you may consider, still the approach is very practical and down to earth. They say, okay, here's a hypothesis. Here's a hypothesis. You don't have to accept it, you don't have to reject it, you don't need to believe or disbelieve in it. However, along with the hypothesis, here is a method to explore, to experiment, to verify whether such dimensions exist or not. When we talk about sadhana, which is spiritual practice, we are actually talking about an experiment, an internal experiment. Here, the laboratory lies within your own system. And you're also the scientist. You are the scientist, you are the laboratory, you are the experiment. So I would like you to become equipped with the technology in such a way that you become so familiar with your own system, the mechanism of your own mind, the mechanism of your own body, that what we call well-being, anything which you approach consciously, that will be a stepping stone for your well-being.